Hey guys, it's Melanie. Happy Sunday. So today I just have kind of a quick, what I'm calling like a Bath and Body Works like classic review. I have already probably at some point reviewed leaves on my channel. However, it's been a very long time, and quite honestly, it's been several years since I have actually actively burned leaves in my home. Leaves has always been one of those Bath and Body Works candles where it has been considered like a must-have for fall by a lot of people. But there's also a lot of people that can't stand this candle because it is just so incredibly potent and like it is just strong. There is no kidding around with leaves. If you are going to light this, it is going to be one of those scents that is going to permeate every corner of your home. You are not really going to be able to escape it. It is very identifiable. I think it's one of those scents where if you walk into someone's house and they're burning it, you immediately know that it's leaves. It just has such a distinct scent to it that it is so easily identified. I have several friends who really are not as into candles as I am, but the one candle that they buy every single fall is leaves. And it doesn't matter whether they normally really like gourmand scents or whether they really like fresh scents or really spicy, heavy scents. Like, it's just one of those like universal just fragrances that a lot of people are like, yeah, I want that in my house for fall. It is in a lot of ways the epitome of fall for a lot of people. So like I said, for me, it's been a few years since I have purchased leaves, but I decided to grab it this year. And in honor of picking this up and having burned it to the halfway point, I'm gonna do a classic leaves review here. I also want to do this with a lot of other candles that I've already talked about on my channel. Cranberry Woods is an all-time classic favorite for me. Marshmallow Fireside is another one. Those are just scents that are just very classic Bath and Body Works for me personally. So I will be doing some classic reviews this year. So we'll revisit some old candles and we'll do it together. So the description of leaves reads: crisp red apple, golden nectar, warm clove, spice with essential oils. I feel like this is kind of a great transitional scent because this is like what I've been using it for, is just as a transition before really getting going with a lot of my pumpkin scents. This is definitely a candle that has an apple note to it, but it also has an even distribution of all of the notes that are listed, if that makes sense. Like, you can definitely smell like an apple note in this, but you also get a very sweet, warm, almost gooey nectar type note. It's very interesting because it's just, the nectar isn't really identifiable as like anything other than just sweetness in this candle. I wouldn't say there is a particular like floral nectar or anything like that that I pick up on. It is just general sweetness, and there's a lot of it in this scent. Also, the warm clove spice note is very identifiable in here as well. Now, to my nose, that warm clove definitely also comes with some hints of like a more gourmand cinnamon, not necessarily red hot spice cinnamon, but like a ground cinnamon note, with also a little bit of nutmeg mixed in there as well. It's almost, to me, like pumpkin pie type spice. That's the way that I've always kind of thought of the spice in here in my head. Is it is just the red apple note with the ooey gooey, like syrupy sweetness, and then those classic fall spices. It is very, very identifiable. It is very fall. To me, it's one of those scents, you know, like when you walk into a Michael's during the fall and there's just this like thing that hits you in the face and it's always the same smell. It's just that like craft store smell. This is kind of almost like that, but there is that definite apple and sweetness running throughout it as well. So it's like a craft store on steroids is what it feels like to me. It's such a classic scent, you guys, and I have to admit, I'm coming back to it. There were a lot of years where I was like, meh, I'm not that into leaves anymore, but for whatever reason this year, I'm loving it, and I don't know where this is coming from because there are so many other yummy scents that Bath & Body Works has put out this fall. But this one I have just been burning nonstop for the last few days and I just love it. I don't know if it's the fact that I'm burning it in a much larger house now and it's not as concentrated as it was in my old house. When we lived at our old place, the square footage was kind of interesting in that particular house because I burned most of my candles downstairs. The house was just about 1,800 square feet, maybe slightly over. But the bulk of the square footage was for the most part upstairs because we had 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs. The downstairs was just kind of an average sized living room, kind of a smaller, like, I wouldn't even call it a dining room. It was like a nook off the kitchen. And then we had our laundry room and a really small powder room. So the bulk of the square footage was always in the upstairs of the house. And I feel like this was just way too strong for the size of house that we had. Like, I would light this and I'd be able to leave it lit for maybe like 20 minutes and I'd have to blow it out. It was just too much. And I feel like the airflow in that particular house was also a lot more stagnant. Like, unless I opened the window at the front of the house and the slider at the back of the house, like then I got some decent airflow and it was a little bit more manageable beyond the 20 minutes. But for the most part, you guys, I could not leave this lit without getting a headache. Here in this house, I'm not getting a headache from it at all. And it doesn't smell nearly as like potent or strong to me. I just feel like it's able to disperse a little bit better almost. So if you haven't used this in a couple years and maybe you're in a different house than what you were before, I feel like it's worth revisiting. That is obviously not necessarily very many of you out there watching this review, but I would definitely encourage you to revisit this scent. Let's talk about the performance, by the way. So I am at the halfway point. So you can see here, I'm right here. I just lit this right before filming this video. The black mark that you see right there is not soot. That is from me lighting it the other day and I let my lighter linger. I was paying attention to the dog while I was lighting the candle and I just kind of let it linger on the side of the glass. So that like scorch mark is from my lighter, not from anything else. You guys, the wicks on this are super thick, but they are almost kind of self-trimming at this point. I don't feel like I have to trim them. And the strength and the throw is a 10. Like, it fills my entire house. This house is just a little over 4,000 square feet. It fills the entire thing. If I open the doors in the bedrooms upstairs, fills all those rooms. It is just, it's a 10. The strength, however, is no longer a 10 out of 10 for me. It's more of like an 8. So it's crazy solid. Like, you're gonna smell this in your house, but it's not overpowering anymore. It is almost like I have found the perfect blend of leaves. And I love the packaging on this one. So the packaging for this particular one, here, let's do this. I'm not gonna pick it up because I'm sure I'll drop it. But it's this super cute, like little woodland scene. So there's a deer wearing a sweater and I love it. And then the owl is wearing earmuffs because of course, right? Like all owls wear earmuffs in the wild. It's the really nice frosted glass. I love the packaging. I'm loving the smell. I'm loving the lid, which is this beautiful champagne gold, like burnished finish with the little vines and little acorns. This is just the epitome of fall. If you haven't tried this in a number of years, give it a whirl. It's really nice. I'm loving it. I'm so glad that I picked it up. I might actually, this is crazy, but I might actually pick up another one because I'm gonna be done with this one in probably the next few days and I'm gonna want another one. I can't even believe that I'm saying that. I used to buy one leaves and it would typically last me like 2 to 3 years because like I said, I'd leave it lit for like 20 minutes. But now I might actually go through a couple of these this year and it's kind of cool. Anyway, there you guys go. I hope that this was entertaining. If you've never tried leaves, give it a sniff the next time that you're at Bath & Body Works and give it a go. Although I will say if you live in a smaller footprint, you should probably open some windows. You should probably get some airflow going because it might choke you out. So, all right, have a great rest of your Sunday, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.